Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Bryan Leonard and Tony Mejia of WagerTalk.com as we got NFL Sunday action here. The New York Football Giants at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Bryan, coming to you first, we're seeing Jags -3 at home, 42.5 being the total. We get the Giants second place in the NFC East, 5-1 on the year, 2-0 on the road, 5-1 against the spread, man. I was surprised by this line to see him an underdog. How are you feeling on in North Florida on Sunday?
You know, it's funny. I bet the Giants at 10-1 to win this division early on before the season started. I liked the changes. I thought from a coaching standpoint, that was the biggest advantage from the coaching staff of what they have now compared to what they had last year. And even I am surprised about how well the Giants are doing. I don't know if it's how well they're doing or how poorly their opponents are playing, because they've got to be one of the weakest 5-1 teams in the history of the NFL, at least in my regards for that, especially when you've got no passing attack at all. They're 31st in sacks per pass attempt, so they can't keep the quarterback up, and they're 31st in passing yards per game. So they're a one-dimensional offense. They're fourth at running the football offensively, which is all fine and good, but eventually you're going to have to pass the football. And when you have a guy who gets sacked a lot and has a history of throwing interceptions, they've been very fortunate in that regard. Jacksonville is a team that a lot of people are looking to buy until a couple of weeks ago when they hosted Houston and lost outright. I think a lot of people have fallen off the Jacksonville train, especially the way they blew that game last week against the Colts. But I think this is a pretty good spot here for Jacksonville. And I really like the matchup because they're third defensively in the NFL in rushing yards per game. They could shut down the one-dimensional New York rushing attack here, make the Giants pass the football on them. Sure, Jacksonville's passing game isn't terrific, but they're middle of the pack. They're not bad. And we're getting to the key number of 3 right now at home. Home field in the NFL is worth maybe 1.5 points at this point. But it's still a long way from Jacksonville to get to the Giants to get to Jacksonville. I prefer the Jacksonville side here. I think this line will probably close 3.5. So if you can grab that 3 right now, get that with Jacksonville because they have the elixir to this New York Giants rushing attack, and I think that's the way this game will be decided.
Good stuff, Bryan. Tony, coming to you next. What do you like in here? Giants at Jags.
All right, well, I have the Jags as a 1-point favorite, so value-wise, I think that's on the Giants. I was trying to do the numbers off the top of my head because I didn't have it written down. I believe in their wins, it's either 74-31 or 74-32, but that's what the Giants have outscored opponents in the second half. So clearly their finishing kick has been tremendous, and it dates back all the way to the surprise result at the beginning of the season where they caught the Titans from behind, and Brian Daboll goes for 2 late, and Saquon Barkley says, hey, you know what? I'm back now. And it's continued to be a theme all season. I mean, Barkley's been the workhorse. He had that incident with his shoulder in London and was able to come back and immediately make a huge play to help finish off the Packers and finish off of him against the Ravens. It was, again, a situation where they rally from behind, take advantage of Baltimore's secondary issues. And despite the fact that, as Brian said, their receiving core is very suspect. I mean, Darius Slayton, I think, is their most consistent receiver and the one guy that you might have heard of on that team. They've got young guys like Richie James and Wan'Dale Robinson making contributions. And again, the receiving core is subpar, and Daniel Jones, they were ready to run him out of town. So it's really basically Saquon Barkley and Matt Breida and the rushing attack that is getting the job done. We'll see if they get Ojulari, one of their better pass rushers, back in this game. But I want no part of the Jaguars here. Little bit of a different team, clearly, than the one we've seen over the last few years. But Trevor Lawrence hasn't taken the step forward that I anticipated he would. They've shown flashes. They obviously started off 2-1, but they've lost 3 straight. And get this on numbers. The Jaguars have lost 18 consecutive times against NFC opponents. I mean, that's crazy. That dates back to multiple coaching staffs. Since 2012, they're 4-39 against the NFC, 8-35 against the spread. I don't want to step in front of the New York Giants based on the momentum that they've established with the Jacksonville Jaguars team. They've got to win at least a game or 2 against the NFC for me to want to lay a point, much less 3, even at home. So Giants or bust for me might be a game I stay away from completely. Or the under might be something that I take a look at depending on the weather. That's another thing. The Giants defense has really held up over the first few quarters of games. Most of them have been under trending, and then in the fourth quarter, the Giants wake up and win when they need to. So again, the job Dayball's done. He has made everybody who wanted to rag on the New York Giants coaching choices over the past few years completely right, because he's turned things around in 6 weeks.
Tony Mejia, wow, 8-35, their last 43 against the NFC, against the spread. That was a heck of a find there, Tony. Good stuff, man. Heard from Bryan Leonard as well. I am Drew Martin. Enjoy the game on Sunday, guys. Giants and Jaguars. Make sure to check out the website, WagerTalk.com. Tuesday is a good day to do so. $2 Tuesdays. Top handicappers, top play, discounted to just $2. Check it out, WagerTalk.com.